Hi, it's Dre Griggs with Obsidian Wisdom. On this Wisdom Wednesday, we'll be discussing the proverb, always being in a hurry does not prevent death, neither does going slowly prevent living. So when you break this proverb into two halves, it really comes down to just our instant gratification society, where we feel that if it doesn't happen quickly and if it doesn't happen easily, then it must not be for us. And that while that could be true in some cases, it's not in most of them. Most of the time, we have to put in the work. We have to use the discipline and understand that there has to be a plan, and we have to commit to that plan over a long period of time. If you look at anyone that is at the top of their game, whether you want to talk in sports or writing or just in a company and the CEO, you want to talk about a sales team and the sales numbers, you often find that there is a correlation between the amount of time someone has been in their field, in that position, working, building those networks and relationships, and the skill set or even just the education where they spent a certain amount of time honing their craft and building their experience and their expertise. And as a result, they were able to differentiate themselves from the market. Now, what ends up happening is we just see the end result. So we see the very end where we're like, wow, that's amazing. And a cool example would be like anytime you've seen someone who's been working out, or you go to the gym and there's like that one person there, or if you like running and there's this person who can run really long and great strides and able to maintain a great pace. And you're sitting there like, I want to be able to run that fast. I want to be able to run, 6-minute miles. Like I want to be in that type of shape. Or if you're watching like Marvel movies, because I love superhero movies, and you'll look at like Thor or someone, Captain America or someone, and you're just like, wow, I want to do that workout. I want to be able to look like that. I want to be that strength and look that way. I wonder what they do. And you go online and you just look up their workout and the meal plan, and you're able to see pretty much what they were able to do. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then like a week goes by, and then maybe even 2 weeks if we're lucky, and then we don't see any results. If you're able to go a month or two, you see some results, but you don't see a lot of results. And as a result, most of us will say, you know what, this is not working, so I'm just going to go back to the way things were. And if you're like me, then you've even seen where your weight goes up, which is really hard, where you're like, I was eating healthy for a couple weeks, I was working out for a couple weeks, and my weight went up. And then I'm really discouraged, and I'm like, there is no way that I'm going to be putting in this time and this commitment if it means that my weight is going to go up. I could just eat whatever I want and my weight could still go up. But the reality is, right, like most things, it takes time. Most of the results that we have today are tied to decisions that we've made a year ago, 2 years ago, even 3 years ago. And for us to judge something today based on our present situation without recognizing that that didn't happen because of the decision that we made yesterday or today or last week, it was the decision that we made a year ago. It was something that we made a year and a half, 2 years ago. And as a result, the decisions that we make today, we're not going to see the results necessarily within the next month. We may see the results again in a year from now, 2 years from now, where you'd have to be able to say, okay, I could, burn myself out. I can go all in and I can give myself a workout plan where I work every single day. I can live like 50% of my income, and I'm going to put away the other 50%, and I'm going to be able to see what I can get going on my investments and my returns. But you often see that it's not really how fast we start the race. Most of these events are marathons. It's not a sprint. This isn't a one lap around the track or a 100-meter dash. This is going to be us running like cross country, like miles or marathon, triathlon, however you want to look at it. We're talking about running a lot longer than most of us are anticipating. And so when you think of it from that situation, then the parable makes a little bit more sense where it says, look, hey, always being in a hurry, that doesn't prevent death. That doesn't prevent the negative effect that we're trying to avoid. If we're trying to be healthier, if we're trying to have better relationships with our family, if we're trying to build a business, if we're trying to be promoted or achieve financial freedom, whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life, the faster you go, it doesn't mean that you're going to get there any faster. It doesn't mean that you're going to avoid any of the pain and get yourself to the pleasure. Most of the time, it just It just depends. It really does. Because if it took us multiple years to get into the situation that we're in now, then realistically, it's going to take us multiple years to get out of the situation. Now, for some of us, we maybe can make a shorter trek out of it, where maybe we just been off track a little bit, where we started drifting slightly. Then it's only been a few months, and then maybe we can shave a few months to a few weeks and we'd be fine. But there is a ratio that you would expect. There is a learning curve. Ultimately, each of the decisions that we make in our life, they create the lifestyle we have. So it really means that the way that we think, the beliefs that we have, and our understanding that we have of the world, that creates the life that we have. If you have any additional questions about retirement planning, I invite you to check out my free retirement planning that works video training at obsidianwisdom.com/training. In it, I give you the entire wisdometric framework that I use with my clients to help them eradicate financial stress, generate a passive income, and build a prosperous retirement strategy. If we are looking to change our situation, then we have to change our relationship with these different things. If you want to change your health, we have to change our relationship with exercising. We have to change our relationship with eating, where we no longer believe eating is like, donuts or something sweet, but we understand that eating is like fuel and health comes in and then health comes out, and that food is medicine. If you look at food as medicine, then you would say, okay, well, I have to eat a certain way because I know that the quality of the food I eat is going to directly relate to the quality of my output because it's my fuel. And then the same would be with your finances, where if we look at money is in the sense that, okay, well, whatever it is that, can make me happy today, I will purchase that today. And then I'll worry about tomorrow. But if you look at money that way, if that is what money is for you, money is something that should make me happy today, well, then naturally you're going to have a different relationship with money than someone who believes money is a tool for me to purchase my freedom. If you're like me and you believe money is a tool to purchase your freedom, then ultimately most of your money, you want to make sure it's being invested in something that is going to generate some sort of a return so that you can purchase your freedom. And that's how I look at money. That's my relationship with money. And then your relationship with money will dictate the decisions that you make, but they will be aligned with whatever those beliefs are. So then it becomes really a question of what type of person would I need to be to get the results that I want? And when you answer that question, then you're able to say, okay, well, that's the relationship I need to have. And then that really means that it doesn't really matter how fast we're going or how slow we're going. One doesn't prevent us from death. One doesn't prevent us from living. The decision that we make in between each of those days, that is what defines the life that we have. And so we have to really get away from saying, okay, I really need this result and I need it now for me to keep going. Realistically, even in the example where I gave you guys where I talked about, hey, I remember when I was eating healthy and I was like working out, I was doing all this stuff, and then I get on the scale at the end of the week and I would have increased in weight. Well, realistically, I know that even if the scale doesn't show the exact number that I'm looking for, I know that the habit of eating healthy and working out is a good thing. And so that is not, whether that happens quickly or happens slowly, I know that that is a good habit. It's going to get me the results that I want. The same would be true for you in any situation you're talking about. Even if you were, like if you were in sales would be an example. So they talk all the time where, look, you may get like 1 out of 10 people to say yes. And if the other 9 out of 10 that say no, you may in a moment be like, you know what, this isn't working. But realistically, if you have a habit of asking people for their business, you will have a habit of getting clients, right? There is a direct relationship between asking people for business and getting business. That you can't say, well, this isn't working as quickly as I want, so I'm no longer going to be looking to ask for the business. Well, that's just not how that works. And the truth is, we would be able to look at any aspect of that, whether you're talking about in finances or your health, your well-being, spirituality, anything. We ultimately know that there are certain decisions that we have to make each and every day, and those decisions will get us the result that we ultimately expect. That we can't say, well, it didn't happen quickly enough, so that means it's not going to work. Well, we got to be smarter than that. We know that that is not true. That even if it doesn't seem like it's working right away, I know that if I ate healthy and worked out for an entire year, an entire 5 years, that I'll be better off than if I ate unhealthy for those same 5 years. Even if it doesn't necessarily show on the scale, I know it would be more beneficial. Even with your money and your investing, you may find that in this volatile time that you may end up losing some money in the short term. But realistically, we all would agree that if you invest money over a long period of time, that you should be able to generate a return. Now, right, we all know we can't guarantee any returns, but if you just look at the stock market, over any 20-year span, you will see that the stock market is going up. Even though it goes down and up and then down and up and then down, 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 and then up, up, up. But ultimately, over any 20-year span, you're going to find that it's generally going to be trending up. And so you have to be making these decisions that say, okay, the result that I'm looking to get, whether it happens quickly or slowly, that doesn't either prevent death or it doesn't, prevent living. So I need to just be making the decision that gets me the result I want without necessarily worrying about how long it takes. We're just looking at making good, healthy habits with good, healthy decisions. Until next time, Wisdomites, remember, wisdom is asking the right question to allow yourself to get the right answers. Keep asking those questions and you will keep getting those answers. Continue blessings.